Good.
Would you all want to do the invocation? Like all that?
See if Richard comes first. But I'll do it.
I'm just gonna,
Okay.
you don't have to start the meeting right on time. You can hold out with hope that he gets here.
Yeah, that always like makes me a little nervous to do for some reason. I feel like I'm not very inspirational.
So, you want me to roll my watch back 5 minutes?
No, that's okay. We'll get started.
I'll wait a few minutes.
You don't want to do the
I don't,
invocation?
I've written it down. Get to 7 now.
What were you up to today, Bill?
This afternoon, we had a facilitated meeting on farmers market. They're
There you go.
providing some organization. I'm going to turn that into 501c3 organization.
Well, that's good. So you can actually try to
They've
get
been
donations.
working on the bylaws and all.
Yeah. Good, good, good.
That, chainsaw. Me and Mr. Chainsaw.
Really?
Do you wear your chaps?
Most of the time.
We were waiting for you.
Most of the time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we
I'm sorry, I'm late.
Oh, no, that's okay. We couldn't get started. We were like, I asked who wanted to do the invocation. We were like, let's wait for Richard. So,
I got
So.
one of my.
I should never try and cook dinner.
What?
was it
Planning
bad?
commission nights.
Yeah,
Just takes longer than I expected.
yeah.
Where do you think
No.
Okay.
I now call the Powhatan Planning Commission meeting to order. Mr. Ayers will lead us in the invocation.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for another beautiful day in Powhatan, and we ask your guidance tonight as we seek to do the people's business. Amen.
Turning it over to Mr. Altman.
Okay, we will have the election of chairman for the calendar year of 15. I open the floor for any nominations for chair.
I nominate Ms. Carmack.
Are there any other nominations for chair?
Move the nominations be closed.
Okay. All right, so me. All those in favor of Mrs. Carmack serving as chair for 15, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you. Now we need to elect the vice chair. I'll open that up for any nominations. I'll nominate Mr. Van Gelder.
Beat me to it.
I move that we close the nominations.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Well, Mr. Van Gelder will be the vice chair. We now need to adopt the rules of order, which I think are pretty similar to what we've had the last few years. Have you all had, and want to change, move, do anything different with these?
They reflect the change that we made last year for the
For the
inclement
date,
weather.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, cool. If not, I move we adopt the rules of order for 2015. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Adoption of the meeting and workshop schedule for March 2015 through February 2016. I know you had some thoughts on the election date. Did you want to bump that?
This is a major election for the county,
Okay.
okay? And I would suspect that I would rather be either crying or celebrating an election for somebody,
Okay.
okay? And I'd like to see us move it off of that evening.
I don't have a problem with that.
Would Wednesday the 4th be okay? Can we do that, Mr. Altman?
I don't know of any conflicts with the room, so we could check into that date for you.
Okay.
It's fine.
Sure.
All right, well, how about, I move we adopt the meeting and workshop schedule with the exception of the November 3rd meeting, with that possibly moving to November 4th. Any questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, we'll approve the January 6th Planning Commission meeting minutes. Do you guys have any questions or amendments to the minutes? If not, I move we approve the minutes. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Altman, any administrative items you want to bring to our attention?
No, ma'am. I would like to point out that last night the board did adopt the wastewater master plan. There was some discussion during the evening regarding whether it should be a plan or a study. It was adopted on a 3-2 vote to be a plan. We postponed or had a vote on the water service districts. It was a 2-2 tie, so it will come back up at the next meeting for discussion. There was discussion about eliminating 4 subdivisions from the service district as it was proposed and presented to the Planning Commission. Those were Holly Hills, Dorset Ridge, Walker's Ridge, and Gento Station. So those were the 4 that were proposed to be eliminated. That will come back to the board at their next meeting for consideration and hopefully adoption then. And then the last item that you weren't involved with, but we had at the meeting, was the Dorset Road intersection improvement project, which was the board voted to remove the project from the revenue sharing program and then submit it as a 6-year secondary road project last night. So,
With the 6-year secondary road project, was it deemed unsafe, or what was?
well, the Volkert study that was conducted on the intersection discussed safety issues and functionality issues. So those were the items that we're pursuing as far as the improvements of the intersection to improve those 2 issues with the intersection improvement. So we'll submit those to the regular 6-year program process when the board does their adoption of their roads for the 6-year plan this year.
Okay.
And then it'll go to the MPO and then get ranked and slotted for funding.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
I have one question, Mr. Alderman. The cash proffer allocation report, how do we use, I mean, it now says it's $884,000 in there. How does that doesn't reflect money or does it reflect money sitting in an account? And how does that get drained, if you will?
Well,
The
it
process, not.
it gets drained for uses that are specific to that type of purpose. So we did use some funds that came through under the recreation piece of the proffers this year to do the playground. Well, actually, last calendar year, this fiscal year, to do the playground equipment at Fighting Creek Park, to replace some of that and to do some benches and things there. So we can use it for specific projects within those functional areas, if you will.
But it doesn't move into the general fund?
No.
Okay.
No.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on, we will now have the public comment period. Anyone wishing to speak on anything that is not on tonight's agenda, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Seeing there is no one, we'll close the public comment period. We have no presentations, and we'll move on to the public hearing. First is the Powhatan Foursquare Church.
Good evening. 1408 CUP is our first public hearing case. The applicant, Powhatan Foursquare Church, the address 2408 New Dorset Circle. This conditional use permit is to operate a place of worship. Subject property is currently zoned commercial. This is an aerial GIS view of subject property, which is highlighted. You see the 2 buildings. This is the GIS zoning layer. The red signifies the commercial. This is a site plan, a little bit small, like you have in your packets. It shows the 2 buildings. View of the church. The building is being used as the one in the photo. Closer view. You can see both buildings. The building to the right is one that's planned for future expansion. View to the side property. This is back out to New Dorset. Case overview. Place of worship is now a conditional use in the commercial district. In the past, it wasn't permitted use. The applicant will utilize 2 existing buildings on the lot for the use. The proposed use is located on the north side of New Dorset Circle, east of its intersection with New Dorset Road. And the access will be from the existing entrance on New Dorset Circle. Comp plan shows subject property is village center. This use is in general accord with the comp plan. Reviewing agencies had no outstanding concerns with this request. Staff has no outstanding concerns. Staff has received no comments from citizens on this request. The compliance history, this property and this use was the subject of a complaint to staff. A notice of violation was issued for operating without a conditional use permit. The applicant took corrective action rather quickly, did file the permit for conditional use application. Staff does recommend approval of this request, subject to the list of recommended conditions as outlined in the packet. And I am available for any questions. The applicants are also here, available for any questions.
Would the applicant care to come forward and make a statement or comment?
Hi, I'm the pastor of the church, Matt Ridenauer. First of all, I'd like to just thank everybody for their time and consideration of this. Thank you for everybody else for being here. Our desire is to be in compliance from day one. We found out later that we were not in compliance. We thought we were okay. We're just renting a space. When we found out that that wasn't the case, we wanted to, make things, correct, as Mr. Dameron has stated. And our goal is to, obviously, to grow. The building's a little small for what we have, the people that we have. We want to grow a little bit further so that we can minister to our children effectively in that current building, and then with the larger building, be able to have our sanctuary in there. And right now, we're trying to have some internal growth, but our goal is to expand into the county, to reach out to them, not necessarily to grow the church by numbers specifically, but our main goal is to grow the people who are coming to the church. So it's, our goal and our excitement is in ministering to the people through, as an example, through a food pantry that we have. That's been just a vital ministry. And it's something that allows us to not only give to the physical needs of the people there, but also to the spiritual needs. Seeing as we're a church, that's really important to us. And then also, we're able to reach out in a couple ways. We had a drive to collect things for the community. I don't know if you've heard of like shoe boxes for Christmas that you send across the world. It was something that one of our ladies had, Ms. Davis, that she wanted to reach out to our community. It's great that we're sending things across, the globe, but it'd be great to do ministry here in our county. So that's something that's been an effective ministry. We got an opportunity to use the county fairgrounds recently. A lot of people that don't even go to our church got involved. So it's not specifically about what's going on inside the four walls of our church, but also what's going on in the community. It's not a matter of people coming to our church, but we want to minister to those around us. And then finally, being able to give school supplies to the schools. We've been able to do that. A lot of collections have been made from the people in the church and outside the church. We've had corporations who are giving to the church through the things that we're doing there to reach out to this community. So that's part of the reason why we want to expand our footprint, even though it's kind of small. It means a lot to us to be able to minister more effectively, and that's part of the reason why we're trying to get this conditional use permit now to do that. So, thank you very much for your time and consideration and allowing us to be able to do that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We'll now have the public hearing before we have questions of staff of the applicant. That being said, anyone wishing to speak regarding this case, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Okay, seeing there is no one, I will close the public hearing and now open it up to some questions. Do you all have any questions of either Mr. Dameron or the applicant?
I have a question for Mr. Dameron.
Okay.
Is there enough space there on their parking lot to satisfy the parking requirements of the zoning ordinance?
I think Mr. Howland has indicated yes.
Thank you.
What we've discussed.
Good, thanks.
While you're up there, I'm curious, the complaint, was it strictly that they weren't in compliance with the CUP, or was there another complaint? Was the complaint something else?
Well, it was originally involving the building code and occupancy,
Okay,
and then we discovered the use, is well behind it.
okay.
Sort of a multi.
And they're not planning on doing any building at this point, is that correct?
Not to my knowledge, no. So just utilizing existing and
Using it-
remodeling, right.
They're redoing the interior of the existing large building on site to make it a sanctuary instead of a workshop.
I got you. And it's a leased property, correct? And you just gotta-
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Quick question for the applicant, if you don't mind. If you could come forward, sorry. How large is your congregation right now, and what are you looking to as far as numbers to expand to? Or I know you want to grow, obviously.
Sure. Our current membership is right around 55 members. That's including children. So depending upon the occupancy, I mean, if we doubled our growth, that would be wonderful.
Okay.
We're pretty effective with the 55 or so that we have. If we could double that and double our effectiveness, that's wonderful. So at that point, if it grew to the point where we needed to expand out to another building, then that's what we would do.
Okay, so that's, all right.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting at.
Okay.
All right. Do you all have any questions for the applicant while here? Okay,
Yeah, I haven't had any adverse comments about the church, so
okay.
everything's fine as far as I'm concerned.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Okay, that being said, Mr. Walker, this is in your district, I believe.
All right, I move the planning commission recommend approval of conditional use permit 14-08. This motion based upon the public necessity, convenience, and general welfare and good zoning practice.
Any questions or comments on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on. Another CUP.
Make an adjustment and we have to.
Okay.
All right, second public hearing, conditional use permit 1409 CUP, Gene R. Hertzler. 2913 Edith Lane. This is conditional use permit to place a manufactured home on the lot. The subject property is currently zoned residential utility, and that zoning requires conditional use permit for the manufactured home. GIS view of the property highlighted. It's a GIS zoning layer, the residential utility signified by the brownish color. And this is the plan of submitted showing proposed location of manufactured home. View of the property from Edith Lane. Another view into the property. To the side properties. The other side. View back out to Edith Lane. Manufactured home is stated is a conditional use in the residential utility district. The applicant plans to install a single-wide manufactured home. The proposed use is located on the north side of Edith Lane, west of its intersection with Red Lane Road. Access will be from the existing entrance on Edith Lane. Subject property is rural residential on the countywide land use plan map. This use is in general accord with the comp plan. Reviewing agencies had no outstanding concerns with this request. Staff also has no outstanding concerns. Staff has received no formal comments from citizens on this request. CUP compliance history, no conditional use permit was ever issued on the property. To the best record, it was a non-conforming manufactured home there. And there were no record, is no record of zoning violations on the lot associated with the property. Staff does recommend approval of the request subject to the list of recommended conditions. And I'm available for questions, and the applicant is also here as well.
Would the applicant care to come forward and make a comment, or? Okay, thanks. Okay. That being said, we'll have our public hearing regarding this case. Anyone wishing to speak, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Seeing there is no one, I will close the public hearing and now open it up to questions for staff or the applicant. Do you all have any questions? Mr. Cox?
Mr. Herschler, could you come to the podium, please, sir? What was the condition of the lot when y'all started this project?
Grown up with a 50-year-old mobile home on it that we removed and cleaned the lot up and trying to improve it.
Thank you.
I have a quick question for you. Who's going to live in the mobile home?
We have at this point in time, there's going to be an elderly person.
Okay. Okay, is it a family member or
No.
rental property? Okay, just a friend or acquaintance. Okay, all right. Do you have any? All righty. All right, that's it. No further questions. All right. Any other questions? I believe this is,
Mine?
yep, yours.
I move the commission recommend approval of conditional use permit 1409. This motion is based upon the public necessity, convenience, general welfare, and good zoning practice.
Any questions or comments on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All righty. That's actually it for our public hearing. We will now adjourn to our workshop.
Yeah, we're just starting now.
Thank you all for coming.
And I let it, I let it mellow too long.
What did you-
Between putting all the ingredients together and the tomatoes going down and everything.
That was pretty quick.
It's about 20 minutes.
Got that knocked
Longer
out.
than I should have.
They must have had on.
Two CUPs in 20 minutes?
20 minutes, that's, and that's electing the chairman and vice chairman, too. That's not bad.
Well, my wife doesn't like it real spicy,
Yeah.
so
Must have had most of the
I
church.
grow my own
Yeah, I was thinking that. I think they probably,
I think there's a few kids missing.
Maybe go-
So you just
So I just spice
Take
it
this
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the parking lot. I got here, I said, man.
Habaneros, jalapenos. He actually grew,
I just want to make sure Katrina went.
chocolate milk, like a brown color. Yeah. It was really good. That was, he used to make a lot of different things and try to do it. So
Judge Sell,
okay. So,
he really got it.
I think this
Great.
Sunday we're going to church.
Oh, wow. If I had sunlight, I'd do the same thing.
Well, he had a field. It's not a big field, small piece, but it had good sunlight. Cut off some of the growth.
She decided this is the worst thing in the world.
Planted a small orchard.
Well, Sulla does walk his dogs. And he ought to pick up the poop, right?
Like,
Are we gonna stay here or are we going to stay here?
I think they're just letting everybody clear out.
I would think, I would think so. She doesn't have much form at all anyhow.
I will. I'll keep you posted. Maybe I'll try to. So what's it called? He'd have a big deal in that whole thing a little bit. Jesus.
I hope it was from scratch. Didn't see how great it was.
Hopefully it's not a big deal.
Didn't sound good.